Welcome to Into the Margins, where we dive into the margins to find what makes businesses profitable in order to inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs.
It is fantastic to be back with you for another deep dive.
Today, we are grappling with a concept that, frankly, keeps a lot of business owners up at night. Or, well, at least it should keep them up at night. It's the concept of invisibility.
Invisibility, it sounds like a superpower, doesn't it? Like something you'd want in a comic book.
Exactly. If you're a spy or a wizard, invisibility is great. But we are talking about the business world here. We're talking about the economic nightmare version of invisibility. Let me ask you a hypothetical question to kick this off.
Go for it.
Imagine you build a business. You pour your life savings into it. You have the absolute best product on the market. Let's say it's a revolutionary coffee maker. You have the sleekest logo. You rented a beautiful office space. You've hired staff. But Google doesn't know you exist.
Okay.
If you aren't indexable, if you don't show up in that search bar, do you actually have a business?
In the modern economy, the short answer is no. You might have a passion project. You might have a very expensive hobby. You might have a lemonade stand that your neighbors know about. But you do not have a scalable, viable business entity.
That is harsh. I mean, that is a punch to the gut for someone who just spent $80,000 on a brand rollout.
It is, but I think we need that reality check right at the top. We are living in a digital-first economy. If you cannot be found, you cannot be paid. It's really that simple.
And that is exactly what we are unpacking today. We are looking at the playbook for the invisible infrastructure that decides who wins and who loses online. We are doing a deep dive into the source material regarding search engine optimization, or as everyone knows it, SEO.
SEO. It's one of those acronyms that gets thrown around in every boardroom, every marketing meeting. It's on every invoice from every digital agency you hire. But it's probably one of the most misunderstood concepts in the entire business landscape.
Oh, absolutely. I think for a lot of people, and I include myself in this, sometimes it feels like dark magic. It feels like alchemy, like you have to sacrifice a goat to the algorithm gods at midnight just to get on page one. I can assure you no livestock is required.
That's good to know. But it feels arbitrary, doesn't it? You change one word on your website and suddenly you disappear, or you appear out of nowhere. Our mission today is to strip away that magic trick mentality. We're going to look at the 4 pillars of online visibility found in the research. We want to demystify this from a buzzword into a concrete business asset.
And we have to start by setting the stakes, because the data we are looking at is brutal. It's not just about being seen, it's about survival. The data says most users never look past the first page of Google.
Never. That seems statistically impossible. Surely some people dig deeper. Almost never. We are talking about the high 90th percentile of user behavior here. Think about your own habits. When you search for something, let's go back to your coffee maker example, and you type in best French press coffee maker, do you ever scroll down to the bottom, click next, and browse page 2?
Honestly, rarely. Maybe if I'm doing deep academic research for a thesis, or maybe if I'm looking for something incredibly obscure. But if I'm looking for a product or a plumber, no way. If it's not on page 1, it doesn't exist to me.
Exactly. There's an old joke in the digital marketing industry, where is the best place to hide a dead body?
I think I've heard this one.
Page 2 of Google search results.
Because nobody goes there. It's a digital graveyard.
It is. And the implication for business owners is severe. If you aren't on that first page, you aren't just losing visibility, you are actively losing money. You are handing market share on a silver platter to the competitor who bothered to show up. You are effectively acting as a lead generation service for your competition by not being there.
Okay, that is a terrifying thought. So let's set the tone right now. This isn't a tech support deep dive. We aren't going to bore you with coding languages or server architecture for an hour. This is a revenue discussion. This is about the playbook for organic growth. So let's unpack this. What fundamentally are we talking about when we say SEO?
At its core, search engine optimization is the process of optimizing your site to rank higher in search engine results pages, often called SRPs. But I think the best way to frame it for an entrepreneur is to step away from the technical definition and look at the economic one. SEO is the pursuit of free traffic.
I love the sound of that. Free's my favorite price tag.
Right. But we need to qualify free and distinguish it from the other big player in the room, which is paid advertising. The source material makes a sharp distinction between organic traffic and paid ads.
Walk us through that difference, because a lot of people just throw money at Google ads and call it a day.
They do, and that's fine for short-term gains. When you pay for a PPC, that's pay-per-click ad, or a Facebook ad, or a sponsored Instagram post, you are effectively renting attention.
Renting. I like that analogy. Break that down for us.
Think about renting an apartment. You pay your landlord every month. As long as you pay, you have a roof over your head. In the digital world, as long as you pay Google or Meta, you have traffic. You are at the top of the page. But the second you stop paying, let's say your budget runs out or your credit card expires, what happens?
You're evicted.
Immediately. The traffic stops. It's like a faucet. You turn the money handle, the water flows. You turn it off, it dries up instantly. There is no residual value. You don't own any equity in that placement.
Okay, so that's renting. How is SEO different?
SEO is like buying a house. It's like building equity. It is a long-term investment that compounds over time. When you write a great piece of content or you optimize your website structure, that doesn't just work for you today. It works for you tomorrow. It works for you next month. It works for you next year.
So you're building an asset.
Precisely. You are building digital real estate. Every blog post, every backlink, every technical fix is a brick in a building that you own. And once you rank for a valuable keyword, you don't pay every time someone clicks on it. That traffic is free in the sense that the marginal cost of a click is zero.
That is a crucial distinction for the balance sheet, renting versus owning. If I'm looking at my P&L statement, paid ads are an operating expense. SEO is a capital investment.
That's a brilliant way to put it. But there's a psychological component here too, right? Because it's not just about the money, it's about how the user perceives you. When I search for something, let's say I'm looking for that new coffee maker, I usually skip the ads at the top. You know, the ones that say sponsored in little bold text?
Oh yeah, I scroll right past them. I go straight to the first real result.
Why do you do that?
I don't know. I guess I feel like they're trying to sell me something. Whereas the organic result feels like the actual right answer.
Exactly. It's about trust. We have been trained as digital consumers to understand that anyone can pay to be at the top. If you have the budget, you can buy the slot. You don't have to be the best coffee maker, you just have to be the richest coffee maker company.
Right. Money talks. So consumers are skeptical.
Very skeptical. But the organic results, you have to earn the right to be there. It's a meritocracy.
So in the eyes of the consumer, the organic ranking is a stamp of quality.
It acts as a seal of approval. If Google, which is the most sophisticated information retrieval system in human history, puts you first, Google is effectively vouching for your business. They are saying, look, we have scanned the entire internet, we have looked at billions of pages, and we believe this is the best answer to your question. That builds immediate credibility that money cannot buy.
That is powerful. It's third-party validation at scale. Now, I want to pivot slightly because I know we have listeners who aren't running global e-commerce empires. We have listeners who run bakeries, mechanics, boutique law firms. Does this playbook apply to them?
Oh, massively. In fact, I would argue it applies more to them in some ways. This is where we get into the concept of local visibility.
Local visibility. Tell me about that.
Think about how you use your phone. You're in a new part of town. Maybe your car starts making a weird noise. What do?
I pull over, I open Google, and I type mechanic near me.
Near me. Those two words have completely changed the global economy over the last decade. That is local SEO. When you do that search, you don't just get a list of blue links, do you?
No, I get a map. I get a list of businesses with star ratings, phone numbers, hours of operation, how far away they are.
That is the map pack. That is driven by your Google business profile. If you are a physical business and you have not optimized for this, you aren't just invisible to the world, you're invisible to the people literally walking down your street.
So if I'm a coffee shop and someone is standing a block away dying for a latte and they type coffee shop and I don't show up, I just lost a sale.
You lost a sale, and you probably lost a lifetime customer because they went to the competitor down the street who did show up. They didn't even know you existed to give you a chance.
Okay, so we know what it is and we know why it matters. It's trust, it's equity, and its visibility. It's the difference between a hobby and a business. But how do we actually build it? The source material breaks this down into 4 pillars. And to help us visualize this, I want to use an analogy. I want to imagine we are building a house.
I like that. A house needs a foundation, a structure, utilities, decoration. It fits perfectly.
Okay, so we have 4 pillars holding up this house of visibility. Can you list them out for us before we dive into the deep end on each one?
Sure. The 4 pillars identified in the playbook are 1, keyword optimization, 2, content quality, 3, technical SEO, and 4, authority, which is mostly about backlinks.
Okay, let's pick up the blueprint and start with pillar 1, keyword optimization. I'm calling this the compass.
That's a very good way to put it. Because before you pour the concrete, before you buy the lumber, You need to know where you're building. You need to know what direction you're heading. Keyword optimization is simply finding out what users are actually typing into that search bar.
It sounds simple, but I feel like people get this wrong all the time. They guess. They rely on their gut. They think, well, I sell shoes, so I want to rank for the word shoes.
And that is a recipe for absolute failure.
Why? Shoes literally describes what I sell.
It does, but you have to look at the market context. If you try to rank for just the word shoes, who are you competing with?
Nike,
Mm-hmm.
Adidas, Amazon, Zappos, the giants.
Exactly. You are competing with billion-dollar corporations, with armies of SEO experts and decades of history. You will be crushed. You don't have the budget or the authority to fight that war. You need data, not guesses. You need to find the battles you can actually win.
So how do we find those battles? The source mentions tools like Google Keyword Planner and Ahrefs.
Yes, those are the industry standards. You use these tools to perform keyword research. You stop guessing and you start listening to the market. You look for what we call long-tail keywords.
Long tail. This is a classic economic concept, but apply it to search for me.
Imagine a demand curve, or just a simple graph. At the head of the graph, you have the short, broad keywords: high volume, wallets, shoes, insurance. Millions of searches a month.
Everyone wants them.
Everyone wants them, so the competition is insane. But here's the secret. The intent behind those searches is usually very low.
Low intent. What do you mean by that?
Think about the psychology of the searcher. If someone types the word wallets into Google, what do they want?
I mean, I don't really know.
Exactly. Neither does Google. Do they want to buy a wallet? Do they want to see a picture of a wallet? Do they want to learn how to make a wallet? Do they want a crypto wallet? It's too vague. They are browsing. They are tire kickers.
Right. They aren't ready to buy yet. They are just gathering information.
Now, go to the tail of the graph. This is where you have longer, more specific phrases. The source uses a great example. Handmade leather wallets for men.
Okay. Handmade leather wallets for men. That is very specific.
It is. Now, logically, fewer people search for that. Maybe only 500 people a month search for that exact phrase compared to the millions searching for wallets.
So on the surface, it looks like a worse opportunity. Fewer people equals fewer sales, right?
On the surface, yes. But, and this is the key to profitability, what is the intent of the person typing handmade leather wallets for men?
They know exactly what they want. They're looking for a specific material, a specific gender, a specific manufacturing process. They probably have their credit cards sitting on the desk next to the keyboard.
Exactly. They're at the bottom of the funnel. They are ready to buy. So lower competition plus higher intent equals better conversion. That is why the long tail strategy is better for profitability. You don't need 1 million visitors who bounce. You need 1,000 visitors who buy.
That is such a crucial shift in mindset. It's not about vanity metrics. It's not about being able to tell your friends at a dinner party, hey, I rank for shoes. It's about actual revenue.
Correct. And finding those keywords is the first step of the compass. You map out these high-intent phrases, and that dictates what you build on your site.
Okay, so we have our compass. We know we are targeting handmade leather wallets. Now we need to put that on the site. This brings us to pillar 2, on-page SEO.
Right. The stuff actually on the page.
I like to call this the billboard. This is what the user actually sees when they're driving down the digital highway.
That works perfectly. On-page SEO is about optimizing the individual pages so Google understands what is on them, and so humans want to click them. And the most critical part of your billboard involves the title tags and meta descriptions.
Let's break those down. These are the things that actually show up in the search results, right? The blue link and the little gray text underneath.
Correct. The title tag is that blue link. It is the headline of your ad in the search results. If you don't include your primary keyword, handmade leather wallets, in that title, Google doesn't know you're relevant. It's that simple. You are telling the search engine, this is what this page is about.
And the meta description. That's the little paragraph underneath.
The meta description is your sales pitch. It doesn't directly affect rankings as much as the title, but it massively affects click-through rate. It's your one chance to convince the human being to choose you over the 9 other links on the page.
So you really have to write for 2 audiences here. You have to write for the robot, putting the keyword in the title, but you also have to write for the human, so they actually want to click.
It's a delicate balancing act. You can't just stuff keywords in there like wallet, wallet leather, buy now, best cheap wallet.
That looks like spam. I wouldn't click that in a million years.
Exactly. It has to read naturally. It needs to be compelling. Something like, discover the finest handmade leather wallets for men, crafted for durability and style, lifetime guarantee. That gets the click.
That sounds much better. It solves a problem and offers a guarantee. And once they click and land on your page, structure becomes everything. The source highlights header tags, your H1, H2, H3.
Yes, this is where a lot of DIY website builders get confused and make critical errors.
I'll be honest, I think a lot of people just use those headers to make fonts bigger or smaller. Like, oh, I want this huge, let's make it an H1. I want this slightly smaller, let's make it an H2.
I see that all the time. It's a classic mistake. But search engines don't see big font or bold font. They see code. They see hierarchy. Think of your website like a book or a college thesis.
A thesis.
Your H1 is the title of the book. It tells us the main topic. You should generally only have one H1 per page.
Wait, just one? What if I have a lot to say?
Just one. If you have 5 H1 tags, Google gets confused. It's like a book with 5 titles. Is this page about shipping? Or is it about the wallet? Or is it about the return policy? It dilutes the focus of the page.
That is a specific, actionable tip. One H1 per page. What are the H2s then?
The H2s are your chapters, features, materials, pricing, and the H3s are the subsections within those chapters. This structure helps readers scan the content, sure, because human beings love structure, but it also helps search bots understand the hierarchy of information. It tells Google what is most important on the page.
It's like outlining your argument. You are making it incredibly easy for the machine to digest your content.
Exactly. You are removing friction. And speaking of friction, let's talk about URL structure. This is often overlooked, but the playbook explicitly mentions it.
Oh, the actual web address in the browser bar. The www.whatever.com/something.
Yes. Does that actually matter to you when you browse?
I would assume so, but I usually just let the website builder auto-generate it. I don't mess with it.
That can be a huge mistake. The rule is keep it short and descriptive. Compare 2 URLs. One is yoursite.com/product, $80 equals 59483, and ref equals XYZ. The other is yoursite.com/handmade-leather-wallet. Which one do you trust more?
Definitely the second one. The first one looks like a database error or a scam, or just messy. It looks unprofessional.
And Google agrees with you. A descriptive URL tells the search engine and the user what to expect before the page even loads. It's a small signal, but in SEO, small signals stack up to create big results.
Okay, so we've got our keywords, the compass, and our on-page structure, the billboard. Now, I want to move to pillar 3, but I have to be honest with you. I'm looking at the source material here, and I'm seeing a potential conflict in philosophy.
Oh, where do you see the conflict?
Well, we've been talking about structure and keywords, but there's this huge push in the marketing world and even in the source material about content quality. The idea that content is king.
Sure, that's probably the oldest mantra in the digital marketing playbook.
So here is my perspective, and I want you to push back on this if I'm wrong. If I am a business owner, and I pour my heart and soul into writing the most amazing, helpful, funny, authoritative blog post about leather wallets, shouldn't that be enough?
I see where you're going.
Based on the source's point about providing the best answer, shouldn't creativity win? Why do I need to worry about all this technical back-end stuff? If I build it, they will come, right? If the art is good, the audience will eventually find it. Content is king.
I wish I could tell you that you're right. I really do. It's a romantic idea.
Romantic. It's merit-based.
It's the brilliant artist discovered solely on the merit of their art. The writer who refuses to play the game but becomes a bestseller anyway. But in the world of SEO, that is a dangerous lie.
Dangerous lie. That's a bit dramatic, isn't it?
It's the truth. You can write the great American novel. You can have the most insightful, life-changing content on the planet. But if the back end of your site, the technical SEO, isn't healthy, you are invisible. You are painting a masterpiece and then locking it in a vault in the basement where nobody has a key.
So you're saying technical SEO is the gatekeeper?
It is the absolute prerequisite. You seem to think technical details are secondary to value. I am arguing that technical health is the prerequisite to value. Google is a robot. It is an algorithm. It is not a human critic reading your prose and appreciating your wit. It needs to be able to access, read, and index your content before it can even begin to judge its quality.
So without the tech, the content doesn't matter at all.
Zero. It doesn't matter how fast your car is if the bridge is out. You won't get to the destination.
Okay, I hear you. You're taking the hardline stance. But I need you to prove it. Let's look at the technical SEO specifics from the source. What are these gatekeepers that can actively block my amazing content from being seen?
Let's start with crawlability. The source mentions the XML sitemap.
XML sitemap. That sounds like something from a sci-fi movie or an architectural blueprint.
It's actually very simple in practice. It is a literal roadmap of your website that you submit to Google Search Console. It tells Google, here are all my pages, here's how they connect, here's when they were last updated.
What happens if I don't have one? Like if I just forget to generate it?
Without this roadmap, Google's bots, they call them spiders or crawlers, are just wandering around your site blindly. They follow links from one page to another. But if you have a page that isn't linked to very well, or is buried deep in your archives, the spider might never find it.
So if I don't have a sitemap, Google might literally not find that amazing blog post I spent 3 weeks writing.
Exactly. It gets lost in the margins. It exists on your server, but it doesn't exist in Google's index. If it's not in the index, it cannot show up in search results. Period. Then you have speed. The source cites Google page speed insights.
Does speed really matter that much?
Yeah.
I mean, if the content is truly good, people will wait an extra second, right? We aren't that impatient.
Oh, we are absolutely that impatient. Think about your own behavior. You click a link on your phone, the screen stays white. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. What do?
I usually hit the back button.
You bounce. You're gone. You assume the site is broken. And guess what? Google measures that. They see a user click your link in the search results and then immediately come back to the search results. That is called a bounce.
And Google takes that personally.
It tells Google, this user did not find what they wanted. Google assumes your page is either broken, painfully slow, or irrelevant, and they drop your ranking to protect future users from a bad experience.
So a slow site literally kills your ranking because it kills user experience, even if the article is a masterpiece.
Instantly. Speed is a confirmed ranking factor. It's not just a convenience, it's a measurable metric. The one that usually shocks people who haven't paid attention for a few years, mobile-first indexing.
Let's unpack that. What does mobile first actually mean in plain English?
It means that Google has fundamentally changed how they look at the web. They have stopped looking at the desktop version of your website as the primary version. They crawl and rank your site based on the mobile version.
Wait, let me clarify this. Even if I'm on a laptop, searching on Google at my desk, looking at a big 27-inch monitor, the results I see are based on how those websites performed on a tiny phone screen.
Correct. Because the vast majority of global internet traffic is now mobile, Google builds its index for the majority. So imagine this scenario. You build a beautiful website. On a desktop, it's stunning. High-resolution images, video backgrounds, complex drop-down menus, fancy animations.
It looks like a movie. It's an immersive experience.
But on mobile,
Yeah.
the text is too small to read without zooming. The buttons are too close together so your thumb hits the wrong one. The high-res images take 12 seconds to load over a cellular network.
It's a mess.
In Google's eyes, your site is a mess, period. It doesn't matter how good the desktop version is. If the mobile version fails, you lose. You lose everywhere, across all devices.
That is a game changer. I think a lot of businesses design on a desktop, in an office, sitting with their web developer, so they assume that's the real site.
And that assumption is costing them thousands of dollars in revenue. So, to answer your earlier challenge about content being king, content is the vehicle, it's the Ferrari. But technical SEO is the highway. If the highway is full of potholes, or if there's a roadblock, or a bridge is out, it doesn't matter how fast your Ferrari is. You aren't going anywhere. You need both.
Okay, point taken. You win this round. I concede. The technical foundation has to be there. It's the cost of entry. But let's assume we've done that. We have the sitemap, the speed, the mobile optimization, and we have the great content.
A great start.
But how does Google know that my great content is better than your great content? If we both have fast sites, and we both wrote amazing 5,000-word guides about leather wallets, who wins? This brings us to pillar 4. Authority.
This is the popularity contest. This is the vote system that the internet runs on.
How does a robot measure popularity? Does it just count traffic?
No, it counts backlinks.
Define that for us clearly, because people throw that term around a lot.
A backlink is simply a link from another website that points to your website. If a reputable blog in the men's fashion industry writes an article about fall trends and links to your handmade leather wallet page, that is a backlink.
And Google sees that link as a vote.
Yes, it's a vote of confidence. Think about academia. If you write a research paper and 500 other scientists cite your paper in their published work, what does that say about you?
It says I'm an authority in my field. It says my work is highly credible.
Exactly. Google was actually founded on this precise principle. The original algorithm was called PageRank, named after founder Larry Page, but also referring to ranking web pages. The theory was the more people link to you, the more important you must be. Google thinks, well, this other site trusts them enough to send their own users there, so they must be a credible source.
But are all votes created equal? In a political democracy, one person equals one vote. Is it the same in SEO?
Absolutely not. It is not a democracy. It is a highly weighted system, and this is where people get into serious trouble.
Explain that, because I've seen emails offering to sell me 5,000 backlinks for $50.
Oh, please tell me you didn't buy those.
I did not, but it sounded tempting.
It's a trap. A link from the New York Times or a major industry publication or a university.edu site is worth 1,000 links from a random shady blog that was created yesterday by a bot.
So it's about authority transfer. The quality of the person voting matters more than the vote itself.
Yes. We call it link juice in the industry, which is honestly a terrible term, but it describes the flow of authority. If a high authority site links to you, a portion of their authority flows to you. But if a spammy, low-quality site links to you, it doesn't help. In fact, if you buy thousands of cheap links, Google will penalize your site and remove you from the index entirely.
So it's quality over quantity, always.
100%. One great link that you earned is better than 100 mediocre ones you beg for.
So how do we actually get the good ones? I can't just call up the Wall Street Journal and demand a link. Hey guys, put me on the homepage.
No, you have to earn them through strategy. The source outlines a few proven methods. Guest posting is a big one. Writing articles for other reputable sites in your industry. You provide them with free, high-quality content for their audience, and in exchange, they allow you to put a link back to your site in your author bio.
It's a trade. Value for value.
Exactly. Partnerships are another great way. If you sell leather wallets, maybe you partner with a leather supplier or a fashion influencer, you do a co-marketing campaign, and they link to you. And then there is the strategy of creating shareable infographics.
Infographics.
Yeah.
Why those specifically?
Visual data. People love to share data, but they hate reading long, dry reports. If you create a beautiful, easy-to-understand chart about, say, the durability of different leather types over 10 years, other blogs might use that image in their own articles.
And when they use the image, they have to credit you as the creator.
They cite the source with a link. Boom, you just earned a high-quality backlink because you made something useful.
And this ties right back to my argument about content quality, doesn't it? I feel somewhat vindicated.
It does. I'll give you this one. This is what we call the quality authority loop. You cannot get high-quality backlinks if you don't have high-quality content. Nobody wants to link to a boring, empty product page. You have to publish valuable, informative, authoritative work so that other people actively want to cite you.
So in the end, we're both right. Technical SEO gets you to the table. It gets you indexed and ensures you don't get penalized for a bad user experience. But content earns you the authority, the backlinks, and the actual top rankings.
A perfect synthesis. You need the poet and the engineer working together in harmony.
All right, we've covered a massive amount of theory today. We've built the house. We've argued about the plumbing versus the painting. But I'm putting myself in the shoes of the listener right now. They're driving to work or they're at the gym, and they're thinking, okay, this sounds great, but I'm totally overwhelmed. What do I actually do, like today?
Let's transition from theory to action. We need to give them an execution plan.
A checklist. Let's do this rapid fire. I'm a business owner. I have a website, but I've completely ignored SEO up until this deep dive. What are my first steps?
Step 1, research. Do not write another word on your website until you know what people want. Go to Google Keyword Planner. Find 5 to 10 buyer intent keywords.
Give me an example of the difference again, just to reinforce it.
Not shoes, but running shoes for flat feet. Not lawyer, but divorce lawyer in Austin, Texas. Find the specific profitable problem you solve.
Got it. 5 to 10 keywords. Step 2.
Technical. Go to Google Search Console. If you don't have it, set it up right now. It's completely free. It's Google's direct dashboard for your site. Run a mobile-friendly test. See what Google sees. If your site is broken on mobile, drop everything and fix that before anything else. Stop the bleeding.
Essential. Step 3.
On page. Go to your most important product or service pages. Look at the title tags and your H1 headers. Do they say home or services?
Which, as we established, is terrible.
It tells Google nothing. Change them immediately. Do they say, welcome to our site? Delete it. Make them say emergency plumber in Chicago or handmade leather wallets. Update them to include those high-intent keywords you found in step 1. Tools like Yoast SEO or Rank Math are great for this if you're using WordPress.
And step 4.
Local. This is specifically for physical businesses with a storefront or a service area. You need to optimize your NAP.
NAP, NAP. I can honestly use a nap right now after all this learning, but I assume that's not what you mean.
No naps yet. NAP stands for name, address, phone.
Why is that a checklist item? That seems incredibly obvious. Just put your address on the site.
It seems obvious, but consistency across the entire internet is vital. We have some related context here on understanding NAP. Imagine if you have a business card that says you are at 123 Main Street, Suite A, but the local phone book says you are at 123 Main St., abbreviated, and your Facebook page says 456 Broadway because you moved 3 years ago and forgot to update it.
It's confusing. I don't know where to actually go to find you.
It confuses the customer, but it really confuses Google. Google pulls data from all over the web, from data aggregators to verify who you are. Google wants to be 100% sure before it sends a user to a physical location. If it sees conflicting data, different phone numbers, different spellings of the street name or Google loses trust. It doesn't know which one is real.
And when Google loses trust,
it stops ranking you in the local map pack. It plays it safe and ranks your competitor instead because their data is clean.
So the action item is to go to every single listing you have online. Yelp, Facebook, Google Business, Bing, Yellow Pages, and make sure the name, address, and phone number are identical.
Down to the formatting, character for character. If you spell out street on one, spell it out on all of them. It matters.
That is highly actionable. I love that. Now, the final piece of the puzzle. We do all this work. We optimize the keywords. We fix the mobile site. We get the backlinks. We clean up our NAP. When do we get rich? Manage my expectations here. Is this an overnight success story?
I have to be the bearer of realistic news here. I have to be the buzzkill. The source is very clear on this. SEO is a marathon, not a sprint.
So I won't be number one tomorrow morning.
You won't be number one next week either, or probably next month. It takes time for Google to crawl your site, index the changes, compare you to competitors, and reevaluate your trust score. It can take months, sometimes 3, 6, or even 12 months to see significant movement for highly competitive keywords.
It requires a lot of patience, and business owners aren't known for their patience.
It does, but, and this is the key, once you are there, it is robust. It sticks. Unlike ads which disappear the second the budget dies, SEO equity lasts. It's a flywheel. It's very hard to get moving at first, but once it spins, it generates its own momentum.
So how do we know it's working while we wait? We can't just sit in the dark for 6 months hoping the magic works.
You need to track the right metrics. The source points to business analytics. You shouldn't just be obsessing over rankings.
Why not? Isn't ranking number one the whole goal?
Rankings are vanity metrics if they don't produce revenue. You can rank number one for a keyword that literally nobody searches for. That doesn't help you pay payroll. You need to look at website traffic. Is the overall organic trend going up month over month? You need to look at SEO performance. Are you showing up for more keywords than you were last quarter? And most importantly, you need to look at conversions.
Sales, leads, phone calls.
Exactly. Are those visitors actually buying wallets? Are they filling out the form to call the plumber? Because traffic without sales is just server costs. It's just noise.
Right. We want profit, not just eyeballs.
Exactly. And there's one more metric mentioned in the related post that we should touch on: customer feedback.
How does feedback fit into SEO? That feels like a customer service issue.
It's the reputation loop. Positive reviews on your Google business profile directly improve your local ranking. Google sees that real people love your service, so they rank you higher to help more people find you. And listening to feedback helps you create better products and better content, which leads to more backlinks. It all feeds back into the growth of the brand.
It's a holistic ecosystem. You can't just hack the algorithm with cheap tricks. You actually have to build a good business.
That's the ultimate secret of SEO. The best SEO strategy is to be a business that genuinely deserves to be found.
I love that. Be a business that deserves to be found.
If you focus on that, on genuinely solving the user's problem better than anyone else, the algorithm will eventually catch up to you and reward you.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We've covered a massive amount of ground today. We've gone from the nightmare of invisibility to building the 4 pillars. We've fought about content versus technical and decided we need both the Ferrari and the highway. We've built a checklist.
Structure, communication, reputation. That's the high-level summary. Technical is your structure. On-page and content is your communication. Backlinks are your reputation.
Simple. Powerful. But before we sign off, I want to leave the listeners with something to chew on, a provocative thought about where this is all going in the future. Because technology doesn't stand still.
No, it never does. The goalposts are always moving.
Well, If we connect this to the bigger picture, we spent this whole time talking about text, typing keywords into a little white box, reading blogs. But think about how the next generation uses technology right now. Siri, Alexa, TikTok, YouTube.
Voice and video search.
Exactly. Google is already starting to prioritize video and audio in their search results. If you ask Siri a question right now like, hey Siri, what's the best way to clean a leather wallet? She doesn't give you a list of 10 blue links to browse through. She gives you one answer. She reads it out loud.
One answer. Winner take all. That's a terrifying prospect.
So the question I have for you listening right now is, if Google changed its algorithm tomorrow to prioritize audio or video over text, is your business ready? Do you have the content that answers questions in those formats? Because the fundamental principles of providing quality answers remain, even if the medium completely changes.
That is a scary but very exciting thought. The margins are moving again.
Always.
The businesses that adapt to that shift, from text to voice, from reading to watching, will be the ones who own the next decade of visibility.
Well, that is all the time we have for this deep dive. We hope this playbook helps you turn on the lights in your business and stop being invisible to the market.
Indeed. It's time to get found.
If you want to read more, check out our blog at intothemargins.com/playbook.
Until next time, keep optimizing.
Thanks for listening. Go check your digital margins.